Okay, welcome back to the program. We're talking with the Ford Home Team, as we always do, regarding the real estate market and some of the challenges and some of the ways that we can navigate through those various challenges. And when is a good time to buy and sell, and when is a time that you might want to hold off. One thing that we do want to get some information on, if somebody is on a reverse mortgage, that are 62 years old and over, and they want to sell. What's the process of doing that? They want to finally sell their home. It's a little bit more complicated than if you're on a traditional mortgage. Let's bring in Shauna Ford and Ted Zimmerman back with the Ford Home Team to talk about that and also discuss the current interest rates in the market and what does it portend for the future in 2024 throughout the year. Kind of a maybe a harbinger of things to come. What does it look like in the real estate market if you want to buy or sell? Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back.
Thanks,
Great,
Tom.
thanks.
So let's start off with the reverse mortgage question. Someone's got a reverse mortgage and they're feeling, okay, now it's time for me to move on and to sell. What's the process? What does that look like? How is it different than if someone has a traditional mortgage? And what can you do to help them out?
Okay, so with a reverse mortgage, it really depends on how much equity they have utilized in their home. So say they've utilized all their equity, they weren't making any interest payments or any house payments because it is an option under a reverse mortgage. So we have to collaborate with the bank and see where they're at. And a lot of times, if they're negative equity, then we have to enter into a short sale situation, which most reverse mortgages work with us on. It's basically whatever you can sell the home for. And then they'll just take it and write off. So there's no family members or anything. So say if somebody passes on and a family member's selling the home with the reverse mortgage, they won't take on the excess debt between the short sale and what they owe to the reverse mortgage. So there's a lot we have to do. We have to do a lot of collaboration with the bank to get the copies of the statements, talk to them, see where they're at. Because when you look at a lien on a property, it looks like a standard mortgage, but they put like the max that loan can end up at, and maybe they haven't utilized it all. So you just have to be able to navigate through that and figure out where they stand, and then do a net sheet and let them know what it looks like.
Well, the good news is, and I know this, that the Ford Home Team is one of the few real estate agencies in San Diego that has a lot of experiences dealing with reverse mortgages. So that's fantastic. You can help simplify the process for anybody who's in that situation. I want to talk about the December CPI, the inflation report that came out. Is a little, slight increase from November, but probably not enough to really make a big impact on the interest rates itself, at least not to increase them. We look at these mortgage rates; they've been high for quite some time, Ted. When we look back throughout 2023 and the last part of 2022, they've moved down recently from the peak. For buyers and sellers alike, what are we looking at for mortgage rates well into 2024?
Well, it really is dependent on what the Fed does. But as you know, we peaked at around 8%. Now we're around 6.6 for a 30-year fixed rate right now. And we do think that rates will continue going down from here, but it is data dependent. So the Fed, that's what they look at. They want inflation around 2% as their target. And as long as that happens, we should start to see some rate cuts. And we think that there could be 3 rate cuts this year, more likely in the second half of the year, which will bring mortgage rates down. Now, if the economy is good and the Fed does cut rates and more than three rate cuts, I would expect that rates could possibly get into the 5s. But we are anticipating 3 rate cuts, and we're looking at probably more in the low 6s by the second half of the year.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It seems like you look at what the Fed has done and what they're indicating they're going to do. I think their next meeting's in March. It seems that they are, I think you're correct, going to reduce rates maybe a couple times, maybe 3 times throughout 2024. Based on your thoughts about mortgage rates, what do you think the housing market will look like for buyers in 2024?
Well, if we compare it to 2023, we do think there'll be more activity this spring and summer in 2024. We think that there'll also be more options for buyers. We think there'll be a little bit more inventory online, even though we're really short on inventory. So there is still that supply demand concern. But we do think a lot of buyers are going to come off the sidelines as rates come down, especially if they come into the low sixes. We should see a pretty busy spring and summertime.
Yeah, good. I mean, and there's a demand for housing. Obviously, people need to live in a home, and it's been tough, but I think there is opportunity out there. So that's the buyer side of it. What about sellers for 2024?
Again, sellers, I think, a lot of them had locked in at such low rates that I think if rates continue downwards, we're going to start seeing sellers. Not only do they want to sell, they may need to sell as well. So I think those that want to sell and haven't sold, they're waiting for those rates to come in. And I think when they get into the low sixes, we're going to start seeing more sellers listing their homes for sale here in San Diego, and especially if they get into the fives.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So, I mean, it seems mortgage rates are likely at least remaining steady. And as you touched on it, there might be a decline in the mortgage rates, which is, of course, great news, I think, for both buyers and for sellers, is what it sounds like. Anything else that you two would like to add?
No, I mean, we're already starting to see the movement in the market, even just in this first quarter. The activity's up. We've gotten more listings. New construction in San Diego County is moving right now. We're starting to see more homes, which is going to start to help with our supply demand as those develop more too. So yeah, it's I think a good year compared to others with the high interest rates.
Yeah, we do expect this to be a much better year compared to 2023.
That's fantastic news. Yeah. And especially for a great market like San Diego, it's just a beautiful place to live and to work and to play and all those things they say. But that's good news for the housing industry in San Diego. Appreciate it very much. And if our viewers are interested in contacting Shauna or Ted, you can just call the number on your screen, go to FordHomeTeam.com, or just click on the QR code that you see there as well. You guys, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Tom.